A black cat struts across the floor as their owner calls their name, Nene. He tells Nene to cheer up and that he has treats for her. She doesn't respond and glances at him dismissively as she passes. The owner, Goto, is disappointed at the dismissal he got from his own cat. He holds the treat limply as he remembers how he got Nene. He found her 3 years ago when she was a discarded black kitten, but now she's completely part of his family. Although, Goto discovered that Nene is often a moody girl. With disappointment written across his face, he says to himself that tomorrow was going to be another tough day. The next night, Goto is heading home after being out with his co-workers. A woman that he works with clung to his arm, asking if he was going home already, since it was still early in the night. The co-worker, seeming to be fond of Goto, begs him to go to another bar with her. He hesitates, saying that he can't before he begins to explain his reason to her. He tells the co-worker that he needs to get back to his cat, to which she gets excited, asking about the cat and if she can see the cat sometime. Hesitantly, Goto agrees. Releasing a sigh of relief, Goto announces that he has arrived home to Nene, but is met with silence. Curious about the silence, Goto calls out Nene's name, but nothing. As he gets changed, he is confused as the cat isn't even in the bedroom where she normally would be found. Feeling concerned, Goto calls out for Nene, asking where she went. An annoyed voice responds, scolding Goto for arriving home late. Startled, Goto turns to see his cat, Nene, sitting there talking. Using third person, Nene says that she has been waiting all this time alone for him to return to her. Nene calls Goto a cruel owner, as it's explained that Nene is no ordinary cat. She's a Bratty Neko, meaning a shape-shifting yokai cat. Goto, fear and panic now growing across his face, begins to stutter as he tries to explain his delay. Before he could get out a full sentence, Nene pounced at him, intending to knock him down. Goto, who was taken completely off guard, was unable to stop Nene as she hit him full force. Goto groans, saying that what Nene did hurt. Nene blames Goto, yelling everything is his fault as she sits on his chest, pinning him down. Nene tells Goto that he stinks. More specifically, he stinks of another woman, bringing the scent home. Addressing Goto as master, she asks how many times does she have to explain this rule? The one thing he's never supposed to do. Don't come home smelling of another woman. She repeats it, saying that Nene has told him this, right? Goto, fearing for his life and sweating bullets, lies and says no. It is then that we are informed that Nene isn't a normal Bratty Neko, but she is a Yandere Bratty Neko. Goto, continuing to lie harder than he's ever lied before, tries to explain to Nene that there are deep reasons behind him smelling like another woman. Nene silences him, saying no more excuses. Nene explains that she was actually joking, but Goto's reaction has made her become serious. In a burst of smoke, Nene, the little black cat, had transformed into a curvy woman with the palest skin. 2 beauty marks sat under her sharp crimson eyes, with her black silk hair sprouting a pair of fluffy cat ears. Nene opened her fanged mouth and told Goto that she was serious about him. Then she told him what he must do. Put a baby in her. Goto, stunned, can't stop Nene. At her core, and what she is right now, is a beast in heat. Goto's protests are silenced by Nene's chest, as she calls him cute. Even though she has shown him this form before, he still blushes, which Nene finds adorable. Nene, still smothering Goto, asks if he can hear her heart beating fast for him. As she licks her lips hungrily, she claims that her heart is beating so fast and strong that it might burst out of her chest. Nene, while still sitting on Goto, asks if he doesn't want to make babies with her. Her confusion to his reluctance causes her emotions to spike. She then asks again if he wants to. Do you? Do you? Do you? Goto hides his face and awkwardly calls her name. Nene, he says. Let's stop, okay? The room went dead silent, and the mood died with it. Goto tells Nene that she's precious family to him, and he can't do that to her. He can't do it with her. Nene slumps in her position. The awkwardness and disappointment hung in the room, so heavy that it weighed them both down. After a long silence, Nene finally spoke up. She claimed that she understood. She understood why Goto said what he said, that she knew he always felt that way. He's so kind, Nene added. So kind, so kind, so kind. So kind, in fact, that he never listens to what Nene wants, never hears what Nene needs. But it's not an issue anymore. Since Goto is such a kind master, she will have him for her own, for babies. She apologizes for what she's about to do. Nene snaps. Goto, having a kid with another woman? Not allowed, not allowed, not allowed. It's wrong. Nene is the one who loves Goto the most. Nene will do her best to raise Goto's baby, so it's okay, right? Because Goto is kind. He'll forgive her, right? She loves Goto. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Love you so much that she'll never let him go. Goto tries to resist her, but he can't. Her abilities as a Bratty Neko trap him in place. Nene tells Goto not to move, that she'll take care of him. Take care of everything. For the rest of that night, Nene uses Goto as she sees fit. The next day, trouble is already starting again. Goto shouted at Nene, telling her to let go. If she doesn't, he's going to be late for work. Nene instantly declines. She hates that Goto is leaving her again. This time, she confronts Goto by saying that he's actually going to see another woman. Goto is shocked by the accusation. Goto again pleads with Nene to let him go. It's Nene's turn now to be shocked, as she asks Goto if he's really leaving her. She decides to do something about it since he will leave no matter what she says. Seductively, Nene tells Goto that for him to be allowed to leave, he must show her that she is all his, so much so that she will forgive him. Nene adds charmingly, okay, as Goto can do nothing but blush, and blush heavily. Quickly escaping the situation, Goto screams that he's off for work and he slams the door behind him. Nene lovingly tells him to have a good day, ready for her reward that night. The night he returns, Goto finds Nene in her human form in the kitchen. She's cooking for him, and he exclaims in surprise that he didn't know Nene could cook. Nene tells him that she studied hard to learn how to cook. She wanted to cheer up Goto after work with a ready meal. She asks that Goto eat lots and lots for her. Feeling touched, Goto can say nothing but Nene's name. Nene's mood shifts as she holds up her knife, telling him again to eat plenty to build his strength, all for her ultimate goal, to have lots and lots of babies with Nene. Goto snaps out of his appreciation, saying babies, confused about the sudden shift. Nene then adds a new offer. Would Goto like to eat Nene first? She claims that she is tastier than the food she was preparing. After calming Nene down, they had the food that Nene prepared, but it wasn't the end of the trouble. Once they had finished, Nene asked how good the food was, asking if it was delicious. Ominously, Nene comments on Goto's heavy breathing, mentioning it sounds almost like the excited pant of a dog. Under her breath, Nene compliments the drug that she used to spike Goto's food. He tries to question it, but Nene brushes it off. Nene tells Goto that if he's in exquisite pain, she can make it all better. She beckons him to come to her, and she will take it all away in another long, blissful night. And that's the end of our spicy manga, a story about my yandere pet cat.